Bless the Lord, brothers and sisters. So happy to be back yet again. I thank God for you tuning in. I am doing quite well. I am blessed by the best. And, I was just thinking today I was thinking about the Lord. I was thinking about life. I was thinking about people. I was thinking about circumstances. And I know that you heard about the tragedy that just happened to the rapper Nipsey Hussle. The tragic death that happened recently. This video is not going to be about Nipsey Hussle exclusively, but this video will be about submission. And I want to talk about submission because there's a lot of people that are taking the disposition as far as what happened. Like, this guy was a good guy. This guy gave to the poor. This guy, did so many awesome, wonderful, blessed things. Philanthropy, trying to build the community, trying to do things that will be a positive thing for the communities and black folk. And not only black folk, but just people who are generally in areas that have a lot of economic struggles and adversity. And that is a wonderful thing. And I will never negate or take that away from this gentleman. However, it has to be a however, brothers and sisters. Because if you just solely base what people do on good deeds, you're going to miss the whole picture. And if you've been following me for a long time on this platform, you realize that things are deeper than what they appear to be. I don't know this man, but I never even, to be quite honest, before this happened, I never even heard of this man before. I don't think I have. I don't study hip hop like that. I'm not, into hip hop like I used to be years ago, So I didn't know who this guy was. I just want to kind of shed some light on a basic standpoint, very, very basic. And I want to provoke your thought. A lot of people, usually people who are not learned, usually people who are not saved, okay, primarily, hold and have this disposition in terms of salvation. If you look at the way God sees humanity, if you look at things the way God views them, okay, and the way that you do that is not in a carnal, fleshy way. You have to look at things from God's perspective in the spirit. So once you examine things not from what you see, but by things in the spiritual, then the things that are tangible and things that you see with your eyes won't hold as much weight. No matter what you are in this world, no matter what your name is, no matter what your reputation is, no matter how much you give, no matter how many turkeys you give out, if your lifestyle is not in submission to God's mission for your life and is not orchestrated and ruled and governed by God, you can give and give and give and give all you want and still go to hell. Oh man, that's a tough spill. That's a tough spill. That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. And I have to say this. This is going to be hard for a lot of people, but I really want y'all to get this because there's so many people that are going to hell in droves. And there's so many people that are going to hell that are surprised that they're going. And that's the worst part. I think that's the worst part of it all. Because if you are living a life of crime, if you're living a life of debauchery, if you're living a life of sin, if you're living a life that's just satanic, you expect hell. Huh? You expect to go there. Oh, yeah. But there's some rock stars that say, some rappers that say, they know that they're going. And they glorify it and rap about it like it's funny, like it's a joke. But then, brothers and sisters, you have other folk that are faithful, okay, with going to church, that are faithful in their giving, that feed the poor, clothe the sick. Then they are perplexed when they hear, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you." You see, that's the hard pill to swallow. That's the hard part. You give to the poor, you give to turkeys. Everybody in the community looks up to you because you're an icon. You're not looking at things, brothers and sisters, from a spiritual perspective. And until you look at things from a spiritual perspective and realize that God's way is not your way, God's thoughts are not your thoughts, and the fact that God looks on man's heart and he knows the intent of man, then you can look at things in a different perspective now. Now you can begin to see what matters to God and what God deems holy and unholy. Now you understand when God says to follow me and submit. Now you understand what it really means to pick up your cross. Now you understand what it really means to deny your flesh and to die to this wicked carnal flesh daily. Now you get it. Because I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, there's virgins that are going to hell. Oh, but I didn't sleep around and I didn't do all this and I'm a virgin. Yeah, but you don't believe. And you're not living a holy, consecrated life, though. And you got wickedness in your spirit and you got bitterness and unforgiveness, And you are rebellious in nature. And you got all types of things that you have not yet repented for. But you're a virgin. You've never slept with a man. So your idea of being holy is just perpetuated on not having sex. Do you see how your mentality is? So your idea of being saved is now skewed. That's why a lot of people, I believe, don't want to embrace truth. And on my channel, sometimes I tell you things that's just quite downright raw, but it's the truth. And as long as you speak the truth, that's when you will be free. Oh, yeah. And I think a lot of people are bound, and I think a lot of people are cursed, and I think a lot of people are just tormented mentally, emotionally, in so many ways in their life, year after year. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they don't live their lives in spirit and in truth. And once you live your life, brothers and sisters, in spirit and in truth, and you are an open book, and you are submitted to God and living according to his will for your life, that's when you see the miraculous. That's when you see the supernatural. That's when you stay blessed. That's when you stay covered by the blood. That's when you stay protected. That's when God sends forth his angels to protect you, whether you be in Crenshaw, or you be in Dubai or Beverly Hills or whatever suburban neighborhood you think stuff ain't going down. Your safety net. Who is your safety net? What is your safety net? Is your safety net determined by how much money you have? Is your safety net determined by some underwater or some under earth bunker that you've paid $2 million for? What is your safety net? Listen, don't you realize that God can stop anybody's heart at any time? Do you realize how fragile your life is? Now it's coming in perspective. This is a celebrity. I think I read somewhere that he was worth upwards of $12 million. Okay? And in the midst of him doing good for the community, it seems that innately he thought that he was invincible in so many ways. That his well-doing, that his giving back, and I'm not taking nothing for the man, just hear me where I'm going. I'm not, listen, it could have been Nipsey Hussle. It could be Jay-Z. It could be Denzel, whoever it is. My point being is when your time is up, your time is up. No matter what you do in this life, no matter how much you give back, when your time is up, your time is up. What you need to be, what you need to be focused on is, are you or that person living a consecrated, submitted life unto the Lord? Because whether they take you out on Tuesday or whether they take you out 40, 50, 60 years from now, or whether you die by natural causes, whatever the case is, when you take your last breath, brothers and sisters, the point is, are you ready to meet your maker? Oh, yeah. Because if Nipsey Hussle, I don't care how much he was given, I don't care if he gave 50 pair of sneakers, a million pair of shirts, or 50,000 turkeys. I don't care what he gave. Hear me good. If he did not submit his life to the true and living God, to hell he's going. As long as you have God and his word and are literally transformed by the renewing of your mind, that's better than a turkey dinner. Because trust and believe you're going to be hungry next week. I digress. It doesn't matter what's tangible. What matters is eternal. And until you wrap this around your skull, you're going to look at life totally different. You're going to look at people totally different. You're going to look at your circumstances totally different. You're going to appreciate life. You're going to be humble more. You're going to be kinder. You're going to be loving. You're going to appreciate each and every day that you have breath, and each and every blink of the eye. You're going to smell the roses in spirit and in truth. You're going to look at the birds flying a little bit more. You're going to appreciate what God is speaking to you from this messenger or that messenger, when you know it's God sent, when you know it's that good word that you were looking for, that push that you needed, that encouragement, that heart to heart that you really needed. Brothers and sisters, I'm just here giving you a message. And the message in its totality is this: God is not playing games. Time is running out. I made a video on that. Time is running out. Whether you're famous or infamous, you will stand before God and take an account. If your last breath was today, where would you go? Where would you go? Heaven or hell? Brothers and sisters, you need to get your mind and your eyes off things that you can see. God decided to make that heart beat. God decided when that heart will stop beating. It's not your decision. Okay? It's God's decision. The thing that you need to ponder on is, what type of legacy are you leaving behind? How many souls are you witnessing to? Huh? How many people did you share your faith with on this week? Huh? Now, I'm not talking about sitting in the back of the church. I'm not talking about singing a couple of songs and paying your money like you're going to a concert. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about relationship with your master. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about knowing who you are and knowing whose you are. I'm talking about living a life with purpose, living a life that matters. I'm not talking about buying the fanciest stuff to impress people that don't like you. I'm not talking about living a superficial life. I'm talking about living a life that matters.